All right. Welcome to the library's first ever puppet show. Today we're going to be doing a puppet show based on the book Stone Soup. One cold winter's day many years ago, a band of weary wanderers arrived at an Air Force base on the edge of Tampa Bay. They had been journeying for many days on rough waters, and they were thirsty, sunburned, hungry, and tired. The weary troop included a white mouse, a turtle, a blistering porcupine, and their leader, Red Squirrel. They were relieved to see a sandy beach, and they became ecstatic when their boat hit a sandbar within 100 meters to the shore.
At last! We finally made it. I can already feel the warm fires and imagine the fresh water and friendly faces. I'm dying for a nice, tasty, hot dinner.
Yes, I'd give anything for a bowl of potato soup right now, or a big hearty stew with onions, beans, and mushroom sauce.
Ooh, and don't forget the cheese! Cheddar cheese, Swiss cheese, corned and pepper jack are my favorites. Oh, and there must be some corn and nuts and rice there too.
Wouldn't warm apple pie be heavenly right now? I can already taste the cinnamon.
I'll eat anything at this point. Just give me a gallon of fresh water. My throat feels like sandpaper. My blistery spines are so dry that the sharp edges are becoming dull, and soon they will start to crack away. How am I going to protect myself from mischievous predators? The fish in the sea will take a bite out of me.
Don't worry, Porcupine. If we stick together, we'll make it to shore all right and we'll be safe. No swimmer is going to risk their jaws by trying to take a bite out of you.
The animals jumped out of their boat and each one swam towards shore, leaving their boat at the sandbar. As they stumbled up the beach a ways, they noticed that the village was quiet, very, very quiet. The tents and cabins seemed empty. Not an animal, creature, or even an insect came over to greet them. They were able to find a well with a wooden bucket and help themselves to several buckets of fresh water. The water was delicious and it was a lifesaver indeed. They lay on the grass with their bellies feeling like they were just going to explode. The animals had been rationing fresh water for weeks on the boat, and they just run completely out of fresh water 24 hours ago. Within a few minutes, they started to feel rejuvenated and they began to look around.
Not many lights on around this village.
And there's no smoke coming from the chimneys, and there is no fire in the burn pit.
Where is everyone? It's too early to turn in. It won't be dark for another hour or two. I wonder what's wrong.
Red Squirrel, White Mouse, Dutch Rabbit, and Porcupine started to put up their modest tent. After about 20 minutes, the door of one of the cottages opened and a villainous-looking raccoon came over towards them.
Hello there, strangers. It is best you move on. It's been a long, difficult winter, and we have no food. We cannot feed you tonight. We can't even feed ourselves. Did you bring any food with you?
One by one, a few other animals came out of their warm dwellings. Slowly, a yellow duckling came over to the group.
You wouldn't want to camp here tonight. Food is scarce this time of year.
Don't you worry about that, because we're going to have a hearty stone soup. I know a secret recipe. There will be enough for you too if you'd like some.
It's the most delicious soup you will ever taste. It's hot, tasty, and filling. All we need is some wood for a fire.
Well, we may have a little wood in return for a bowl of your most delicious stone soup.
Before long, Red Squirrel, Turtle, White Mouse, and Porcupine had built a roaring fire from the wood that Raccoon and Yellow Duckling had found for them. They put a large cooking pot on the fire, filled it with water, and soon it was boiling hot. The animals stood around the fire and held out their paws or wings to warm them.
It's lovely to be warm. It's a good idea to put all our wood together.
Red Squirrel reached into their tent and pulled out a bundle. She unwrapped it carefully and a large stone was revealed.
Is that it? Is that the magic stone? It looks just like an ordinary stone. Have we wasted our precious wood for that?
This is no ordinary stone. It's a stone soup stone.
Red Squirrel dropped the stone into the boiling water. She waited a couple minutes, then dipped in her spoon and tasted the liquid.
Not bad, friend, but it needs a little salt. Do we have any salt?
I don't think we have any salt. The soup is no good without salt. Perhaps we have to dump it away.
Wait a minute, let me see. I may be able to find a little salt. If that is all it needs.
Yellow Duckling trotted over to her little barn and came back with a stash of amazing white salt and threw it into the big black cauldron.
Much better. If only we had some potatoes.
Wait! I think I may know where to find a few potatoes. I've forgotten all about them until now.
And off Yellow Duck went through the forest to fetch potatoes from a garden only he had known about.
I don't suppose anyone would have some beans, have they? It's very good with beans.
Yes! My father has some beans hidden in our loft. Just give me a few minutes and I'll be back with them.
Does he have some pepper too?
Believe it or not, I actually have a little pepper. It's the only spice that we have left over from our boat ride. I have it in a waterproof container stored in the tent. Let me go fetch it.
Before long, all the village animals had remembered bits of food and seasonings to go into the soup. Only the raccoon had refused to give anything to the meal, saying he had no food in his house at all. Everyone stood around the cooking pot and breathed in deeply. The soup smelled delicious.
Is it ready? We are so hungry.
No. What it really needs now is, it needs an onion.
Everyone stared at their feet and shuffled uneasily. Then, one by one, they all turned to look at Raccoon. He blushed red and muttered,
All right. I may, just maybe, have an onion in my tree. Let me go to check to see if it is still there.
and off he scampered. After a minute or two, Raccoon returned carrying the biggest onion you could wish for. Everyone cheered as the Dutch Rabbit chopped it up and threw it into the soup. Even Raccoon smiled a little. Everyone at the feast swore that it was the finest soup they had ever tasted. It was piping hot, rich, and filling, and there was even enough for everyone to have at least 3 bowlfuls. After they had eaten, the animals played out some music and danced late into the night. After a good night's sleep and early the next morning, Red Raccoon, Turtle, White Mouse, and the prickly porcupine packed up to leave. Yellow Duckling asked,
Won't you stay a little longer?
Red Squirrel reached into his gear bag and brought out the cooking stone.
This is for you, but it will only work if y'all all cook together and if everyone brings something to the feast.
Thank you, my friends. I am sure happy that you came by. We will cherish what we have learned and cook together often.
In fact, we are going to plan for our next dinner for later today, right now.
Red Raccoon, Turtle, White Mouse, and the prickly porcupine wandered further through the forest, feeling very happy and looking forward to their next big adventure. The end.
Woo!